Hey warriors, pause for a moment and ask yourself this. If today were your last day on earth, would you be proud of how you lived it? That single question has the power to shake your soul awake, because most people drift through life waiting for the right time, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for circumstances to be perfect before they take action. But tomorrow is never promised, and the Stoics knew this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome and philosopher of the soul, lived in a world scarred by plagues, betrayal, and constant war. Yet instead of collapsing under the weight of fear, he turned inward and wrote to himself, reminders to stay disciplined, to live with clarity, to rise above chaos. His meditations were never speeches to the public. They were instructions for his own heart. They were shields against despair. Imagine him, the most powerful man in the world, scribbling by candlelight, whispering wisdom to himself like a warrior sharpening his sword in silence. That image teaches us something profound. True strength is not about conquering others, but conquering yourself. And that is what Stoicism is at its core. It's not a dry philosophy hidden in libraries. It's a warrior's code, forged in the fire of real life, meant for ordinary men and women who wake up every day to fight their own battles. Maybe your battlefield isn't a Roman frontier. It's your office, your school, your relationships, or even the war within your own mind. Maybe your enemy isn't carrying a sword. It's carrying the shape of self-doubt, anxiety, procrastination, or the voice that tells you you're not good enough. The Stoics remind us that the fight is never truly outside. It's always inside. Epictetus, born a slave, beaten and crippled, said it clearly, "You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus can overpower my will." Seneca, living in luxury but aware of its traps, would practice poverty and discomfort to remind himself that strength lives in the soul, not in possessions. And Marcus himself, who could command armies with a word, kept writing, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So here lies your first weapon, warriors. Control. Control not of the world, but of yourself. Think about how often we waste energy on what we can't change. The weather is bad. Someone insulted us. A business deal collapsed. A friend betrayed us. None of that is under our command, yet we hand it power over our peace. The Stoic says no more. You cannot control the storm, but you can control your sails. You cannot control the noise, but you can control your focus. That's where Stoicism begins, in that small, sacred space between stimulus and response, where you get to choose. The question is simple but brutal. Will you live as a victim, or will you rise as a warrior? The world outside is chaos, but within you is a fortress that no storm can breach. That fortress is your mind, and if you master it, no power on earth can shake you. Warriors, now that you've armed yourself with control over your mind, it's time to sharpen the second weapon, discipline. Without it, all wisdom is wasted. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of the greatest empire on earth, could have drowned in luxury. He could have chosen comfort, excess, and indulgence, yet he lived with simplicity. He rose before dawn, faced his duties, and reminded himself daily, "At dawn, when you awake unwillingly, have this thought: I am rising to do the work of a human being." That line wasn't poetry. It was a battle cry against laziness, against the seductive pull of comfort. Think about your own mornings. How many times have you hit the snooze button? How many days have you promised yourself you'd start tomorrow, only to let tomorrow slip away again and again? This is why discipline is the Stoics' daily training ground. It's not about punishing yourself, it's about proving to yourself that you are stronger than your impulses. Seneca practiced this. Though he had wealth, he would deliberately eat coarse bread, sleep on hard floors, and wear rough clothes. Why? To train his spirit. He asked himself, "Is this what I feared?" By confronting discomfort, he stripped fear of its power. Epictetus, living in poverty, taught his students that freedom is not doing what you want. It's having the power not to do what enslaves you. And here's the modern truth. We are not enslaved by emperors or masters, but by our addictions, our devices, and our endless hunger for ease. The glowing screen that steals your time, the endless scrolling, the constant need for validation, these are chains just as real as iron shackles, and the Stoic path demands you break them. Discipline is not about rejecting joy. It's about choosing mastery over slavery. It's about saying, I will not be ruled by food, by lust, by laziness, by distraction. I will rule myself. But discipline is not only about denying pleasures, it's about aligning with purpose. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Warriors, that is the challenge. Who do you want to be? What is your mission? Because discipline without direction is just suffering without meaning. An athlete trains not because lifting weights is fun, but because victory requires strength. A writer practices not because staring at blank pages is enjoyable, but because truth demands expression. A soldier drills not for pleasure, but to survive the battlefield. And you are in training too. Every rep in the gym, every early morning, every hard choice to do what is right instead of what is easy. Those are your drills. You are forging your character. You are building the unshakable spirit that the Stoics honored above all. So here is your call to action. Choose one discipline and begin today. Wake an hour earlier. Turn your phone off when you study. Skip a meal and learn you won't die without it. Speak the truth when a lie would be easier. Build a schedule and actually follow it. These small acts are not trivial. They are bricks in the fortress of your soul. Remember Marcus's words. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Warriors, stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is now. Rise with discipline and step onto the battlefield of life prepared, not weak. Warriors, we have spoken of controlling the mind and disciplining the body. Now comes the final test, living with courage and purpose. The Stoics did not merely sit in quiet rooms writing pretty words, they lived their philosophy in the fire of life. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, endless wars, betrayal within his ranks, and the crushing weight of ruling millions. And yet he still wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is not just advice, it is survival. Because here's the truth. Life will not spare you. You will lose loved ones, suffer betrayal, face setbacks, and meet death itself. But the Stoics teach us to stand like a headland battered by the waves, firm, unshaken, and even strengthened by the storm. Ask yourself, when adversity strikes, will you collapse, or will you rise as the storm's equal? Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to act in spite of fear. Epictetus, born a slave, beaten by his master until he walked with a limp, could have chosen bitterness. Instead, he chose freedom of spirit. He taught his students, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. That is courage, not waiting for the world to be fair, but being just when the world is unjust. Seneca, ordered to take his own life by Emperor Nero, did not panic. He accepted fate with calm dignity, proving that true courage is in how you die as much as how you live. And Marcus, though he knew his empire would collapse, though he knew betrayal and loss, continued to act with virtue until the end. These men did not seek an easy life, they sought a meaningful one. And meaning comes only when you accept struggle, look fate in the eye, and still choose to act with honor. Warriors, this is where you must decide. Will you live small, chasing comfort and avoiding risk? Or will you live like a Stoic, embracing the satyr, the shortness of life, and using every breath to build virtue? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Death is not the enemy. It is the reminder that time is slipping away. Look back on your life. How many hours have you wasted? How many days lost to hesitation, to fear, to the endless waiting for someday? There is no someday. There is only now. Courage means taking the risk today, launching the project, speaking the truth, forgiving the enemy, loving fully, and acting boldly. Tomorrow is not promised. The battlefield is today. So here is your final command. Live your philosophy. Do not merely read Marcus Aurelius. Be him in action. Do not quote Epictetus. Embody his resilience. Do not admire Seneca. Practice his discipline. Warriors, when life hits you with chaos, remember, the obstacle is the way. When betrayal cuts you, remember, your virtue is untouched. When fear whispers, remember, courage is action in spite of it. And when death comes, as it surely will, let it find you standing tall, unshaken, your soul forged in the fire of Stoic discipline. That is the way of the warrior. That is the way of the Stoic. Rise now and live it.